Beyond the Mind's Eye.
It was such a great idea to put the event together at the planetarium. There's so much in common with some of the images on the video, with all the planets, and also it was just, I was amazed how many great people showed up and how much they enjoyed it. It was great to talk to them. A company called Miramar approached me about working on this project. It sounded just so amazing. I couldn't believe it. The whole project is done via computer animation, and things that give you glimpses of what virtual reality and things like that look like. And it was just the greatest breakthrough for me to be able to start on something completely different, to do as an album and as a video project, because there's, it's a parallel thing between my new album and the video. What happened was I finished most of the music, and we were talking with the record company, and they really liked the piece, Seeds of Life. The melody and all that was very catchy and memorable. And they just said, why don't we try and have a go at the vocal version? And they suggested I get together with Chris. And Chris just jumped at the chance. He heard the tape of the instrumental, and he called me. He wrote some lyrics, and through fax, and we just communicated, and then he came over to my studio, and we just did it real quick. It was just a wonderful instant communication that we established, and I'm really glad we did it, because the melody of that song really cries out for a vocal too. So it was a great idea, and it worked out fantastic.
I bet 1,000,000 to 1. There's a piece in the fire that burns. Seeds of life, like the heat of the sun.
Funny story is, I told Chris finally we're ready for him. He stands in and he's got these reflection-free glasses. Well, we got a green wall behind him because that's how you key them in, right? It's a technical thing. You have to have this green wall. He stands in front of the screen, out in the lights, and his glasses turn green because they're reflection-free. And I'm going, oh my God, it's Saturday. Where are we going to get, And he wouldn't do it without his glasses because, he wanted to see,
Seeds of light. Whoa, seeds of light.
I did the video first. The music for the video was more, in a sense, the form of it and the approach was a little bit more like a score, where I was more trying to support and work with the visuals. Whereas for a record, it would sound awkward in places if you had things that are really just bringing up dramatic accents and things. So you had to go back and redo the music with a record, purely musical record in mind. And also then it led to rethinking the order of the way the pieces went, because the pieces on the video, the continuity is really provided by the visuals. And then the music just snaps in place. If you listen to that order just with music, it didn't gel quite as well. So I just went completely to the drawing board, reshuffled the pieces completely, and they just work as a continuous musical experience. The best thing that happened to me really was after a couple of films, I ran through a mutual friend into the producers. They were putting together the show that was to become Miami Vice, and I had no idea what was going to happen. I thought it was like another cop show. There was millions like that before. There'll be more certainly, and all of a sudden, the thing just exploded.
Tommy got a couple of armed security guards to hang well from the shower head in our hotel.
You know that?
Yeah, but I can't prove it.
I'm sorry.
That we did one show a week, and I usually had about 4 days to finish an episode and catch my breath and just start on another. And after a few years, that was almost as bad as being on the road, but in a different way. But you tend to come close to a burnout too, because you have to just put out so much, and each week was sort of like a different mini movie. It wasn't like repeating the same things like it's usually done in television series, where you have certain library of themes and you just recycle them each week. We were creating a whole new sound design and music design for each episode, so that got pretty hairy at times. But I survived it. There was a few sleepless nights, but Jeff Beck is one person that I've worked over the years many times now, going about close to 20 years. Every time I hear him play, and actually even more so now with age or years going by, he's just revealing new layers of what he can do. It was great to see him last night at the party at the planetarium. It was wonderful. And so we're talking, we definitely got to do something this coming year again.
I welcome you on behalf of MCA Records, of Miramar, and of BMT Video. And make your way up this staircase here, leave your drinks and cigarettes, and enjoy the show. Thank you.
Herbie. Ryan Herbie.
You are now entering a world inside the essence of your imagination. Look within your dreams. They can take you beyond the mind's eye.
MCA couldn't have picked a better place to show this. It was just wonderful, and I was just amazed at all the people that came to see it, and everybody seems to love it. I'm just happy as can be.
Well, I really enjoyed it. I've actually seen bits and pieces before, but I've never seen it in its entirety before. No, it's a great piece of work, great piece of animation, and Jan's done some brilliant music. It's great. When you see it all together, it makes a lot of sense.
I've never, ever met a musician besides Jan Hammer that can be so expressive with music while you're watching something visually and be able to feel it. He's just amazing like that. He did the same thing with Miami Vice in America, and it was like, he's just, an incredible musician to be able to look at any type of art form and be able to create that while he's watching it, It's amazing. I loved it.
Yeah, it's terrific. Yeah, it's wonderful. Yes, I've seen some of the animation before, and it's a great thing. I would love to get together with these animators because I have a few ideas which are kind of close to this, I guess. But I just sat and took it all in, and I thought it was brilliant, beautifully done. The music's great. I mean, the guy is very clever. Yeah.
My impression, absolutely mind-blowing. There's no words you can describe that with. I was thinking, how would I tell my friends that didn't see it? And there's no way you can tell them. They have to see it. It's what Jan, I think, always stood for, which is... Look, hey, get out of my face. He's always been spacey in his music. Ever since the first 7 days, he had an album called The First 7 Days. And that has all the earmarks of space and reaching out type music. This blows that away, but I'm not saying that wasn't a good album. It's a brilliant album, but this is so much more compact, so much more further developed because of all the synthesizer sounds that you can get. He's the king. That's all there is to it. Best guitarist he ever on a keyboard.
First time I'd seen my own video. Well, it came over from America today, and we were doing some photographs, so I didn't have time to watch it. So I wanted to see it first time like that. It was good. It was excellent.
Collaborating with other musicians is it's a counterweight to the creative process that I go through on my records. You know, it would be very hard for me to stay closed off and do nothing but work by myself. So I really enjoy going off and then working with other people on I've been working mostly with great guitarists on a lot of different records, and those experiences are great counterbalance to then go back and reflect and create on my own. So I think I couldn't do without one or the other. I like to have it both ways.